Hey, it's Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and today let's talk about something that's really important in the comic book market. So one thing that I notice as part of the comic book community, just as a fan for that matter, is how much cynicism and negativity there is around some stuff about spec and FOMO and hype in the comic book market. And I really wanted to kind of talk about what's driving a lot of that and what is sort of causing some of what's happening. This is a topic that's really been on my mind, and that's what I do on this channel. I talk to you guys about what I'm thinking about the comic book market or my personal journey in comic books or whatever it might be. And what it's really amounted to is something that's happened where it seems like every other book is a key. Everything's a key. Everything's a spec book for various reasons. That's an exaggeration to a certain extent, but there's certainly a lot more spec books now than there were 5 years ago. It's exploded. Why is that? Well, the answer isn't surprising. It's money. It's always money. Where is this coming from? What's driving it? And what does it mean? Let's dive into some of those questions today. So I think the gas that got added to this fire is one particular topic, and that is affiliate or partner links. And what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people probably are familiar, like a YouTuber who is reviewing a product and it's a paid promotion, or they're going to sell that product. They'll have like maybe an Amazon link in their description and they say, go buy it here. It's a promoted link or a partner link or an affiliate link. And that means that they get a certain percentage of whatever is bought if somebody follows that link. Usually it's that specific item. Sometimes it's any purchase made after that link is followed. And it's probably not much, it's probably a few percent or something, but it does happen. Well, that's also happening with comic books. So if you get an alert for, a hot new comic book or a movie announcement or casting news or something like that, and you look at your phone and you click on it and you follow a link that goes to eBay and you buy that book, well, of course, the company who sent you that link is going to receive a cut of those profits. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I mean, I think that's perfectly fair. It's disclosed. It's not, by the way, everybody knows what app I'm talking about when I say this, but they're not the only ones that do it, actually. There are other lists and stuff I've seen where you can follow links and go buy stuff on eBay too. So it's something that is kind of spread throughout the comic collecting community. Okay, so the companies that let you know about this hot new comic book collect a percentage off of that. There's no problem with that, right? Well, I'm not necessarily saying it's a problem, but there is a secondary issue, and that is you are often following the advice of somebody who has a financial gain in you buying the product when you follow that link. These places that have those partnered links with eBay are also telling you what is a hot book or what could become a hot book or whatever that may be. So if you think about it, it's really in their best interest to find ways for you to want to click on a comic book and follow that eBay link to go keep buying comic books. And one way you could do that is you could take something that's relatively minor, that's going to have a lot of listings on eBay that aren't too expensive, and send people there to go buy them up. If you go tell people that, X-Men 1's a huge key, obviously everybody's going to go look at it and say, oh yeah, it's really expensive. And not very many people are going to buy it. If somebody does buy it, though, it's still going to be worth a lot of money, and a percentage of a huge transaction is still worth a lot of money. But if you go tell them that, made up Acme comic number 67 is the first appearance of this character that might have a movie coming in a couple of years, and you go look on eBay and there's a bunch of them that are really solidly available, maybe a lot of people would buy that comic book. And that's kind of become a fire that's grown, right? Like, as we know, the comic book collecting community has exploded. We have new people investing in comic books as an investment. We have collectors that are putting more money into comic book investing and speculation. And a lot of it's driven by movies and TV shows and that sort of type of spec. That's a huge part of it. And there's a lot of optioned news. There's a lot of, you know, deals that get signed, and a lot of those don't actually ever go anywhere, by the way, but it just kind of creates this frenzy. And that's kind of this whole mob mentality that kind of takes root here, is because we see the frenzy and we know the next one will also have a frenzy, at least to a certain point, that eventually could all collapse. But it's kind of become like a snowball effect, right? Like a lot of hot new keys tend to get jumped on, and maybe we've seen that cool a little bit very recently, but that's been something that's been growing over like the last year and a half in a major way. The point is, it's let's say I had an app where I sent you an alert. It's in my best interest to sell you on buying that comic book so that I can make some money off of it, whether knowingly or not. That is going to encourage you to potentially put out more information about comic books to buy, is kind of my point. And I think that is something that isn't necessarily a problem, but it's something that I think as collectors we need to think about. We need to maybe pause when we get an alert from something and say, is that really a book I need to go buy? Is there real value here, or am I just being told there's value here? And that's a decision that you ultimately obviously need to make for yourself. But if you've ever wondered why everything seems to be a key these days, why there's so many top lists, top 10, top 20, top spec lists out there, that's definitely why. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here. I'm not trying to be negative about the comic book collecting hobby or community, but I am kind of speaking on behalf of everybody that is really irritated with what's going on, or they see some dots getting connected and they kind of wonder what's happening. And I'm also just trying to do what I've always done, which is encourage you to think critically about the comic book collecting hobby and how you approach it. And I'm always interested in starting a discussion about that. So in interest of that, if you have comments that you'd like to share, whether supporting this concept, whether you're disagreeing with what I have to say, or you have an alternate perspective to share, that's what I'd love to hear about it. And I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And I want to remind you, as always, hey, read comics every day.